Hi, beautiful souls. This is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. Today, I thought I would share with you some reflections on the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Everyday Witch Oracle. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, go through the major arcana and just give you some reflections on some of my favorite cards. And then we'll have a look at the Oracle deck and the minors side by side. And I've organized them into suits. So you can see the 4 suits of the Oracle side by side with the Tarot. The Oracle, if you're not aware, is 40 cards, and it's organized by element. And so there's 10 cards with each element, and they do come in a they are organized in a progressive order, much like the Tarot. But we'll have a look at that in a few minutes. This Fool card is just fantastic in that we have all of the elements represented here. We have the energy, the fire, the passion, the magic, represented by that, the sense of flight. So the witch is about to take off on her broom. She's in complete trust, and you can feel the fire here with that. She is in the clouds, and she has one foot on solid ground, which I think is really important when we're taking off on a new adventure, even if we don't know where we're going, even if we don't know where it's going to take us, emotionally or spiritually. To take off from solid ground is a really good place to begin. And then we have the water underneath. So yeah, I really like that Fool card. The High Priestess is another brilliant card. And the thing it reminds me of is that we have pets, kids, time, jobs, all kinds of things that may appear to interfere with our practices, with our spiritual practices, with our sacred moments. And this High Priestess is a perfect example of how to not let that ruffle your feathers. And it doesn't really matter that the cat has knocked over her bag of bones or ruins or whatever they are. She is completely focused and, sticking with her meditation, with her reading, whatever she's doing. And it's just that really beautiful reminder to not let those things get, in the way of, or be excuses for not doing a reading today or not doing whatever your practices are today. If you have a look at the different animals in the card, they really are done very well. Cleverly, they reflect deeply the person and the energy of each of the cards. And in the Emperor card, I love that they chose a German Shepherd. That just works for me so well. Yeah. So have a look carefully at the animals as we go through the deck. I really resonate with this Hierophant card. Being a yoga teacher, I'm just wondering why their hands are up in the air. Not very often when you're doing this gesture are your hands, this mudra, are your hands in the air. Usually they're resting on your lap, but perhaps she is teaching a breath pattern or something, and they're using their hands with that. This deck is often knocked for not being diverse. So too many white people, too many thin young people. And I think this is an example where we need to really kind of look at the deck more carefully. And, the Emperor is definitely a mature man. Here we potentially have a same-sex partnership. And so I think people are very quick to criticize this deck for its whiteness. So just keep that in mind as you're looking through. Like this witch here on the bicycle is not super slim and trim. And that doesn't matter to me. The other thing I love about this Chariot card is it reminds me of a scene from Indiana Jones. Do you remember when they were leaving the castle and heading to Berlin? It just the way the arrows are here and the way it's all set up. There's a couple of cards in this deck that to me look exactly like a scene from a movie. Yeah, and in the Strength card, the power of her magic is creating a storm, is creating a tornado. And at first glance, you might not even notice. And is she aware? Is this intentional? What's going on here? Like why is she kind of at peace and with the lion? Is the strength from the lion helping her to create this pattern, whatever is happening over here? I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions with this deck that could take you deeper into the cards if you took time to really look deeply. In the Hermit card, I mean, this is one of my favorite Hermit cards. I think I've said before, the lily white, where the woman is in the, it looks like she's in the womb of the tree, is really cleverly done. This one also, I can tell the intention here. She has set out the directions around the fire. This is a sacred fire. This is not just a fire for survival. You know, it's just a really beautiful energy. And whether the owl is there as a protector or to share in the wisdom, or both perhaps, it's just a great example of including important details in the card to for discussion, for tying in neighboring cards and things. Yeah. Yeah, the Justice card, whether that is a blindfold that is worn intentionally, or something has slipped down, or whether she is blind in one eye, I think those are all important questions to ask when that Justice card comes up. Like your perception of justice, your perception of karma is really important. This key in the hand here, and the fact that these chains appear to be locked and these appear to be locked, is a really different way of drawing the Hanged Man card. I also like that we've got this kind of magical balance thing happening here, because this is not lashed with rope, right? So magically the broom is here suspended, and the witch is chosen to chain the ankles and the wrists. But there is a key here. So with a little abdominal strength, this key can be opened. So there's lots of questions that can be asked. And the storm that is brewing in the background, is it moving away? Is it moving towards? We have a beautiful kind of spring, summer imagery here. I don't know, I think there's lots of little details that sometimes get overlooked in this deck. And I don't want to spend too much time on every single card. Yeah. Temperance. What is your take on this Devil card? I mean, there's so many little details in this card. And I think the important thing is when a card has so many details, to really stick with the piece that is speaking to you in that moment, and not to be hung up on speaking to every single aspect of a card. And so really as a reader, to allow yourself the flexibility and give yourself permission to do that. This Tower card has been talked about a lot on many of the Facebook groups and on lots of different videos, and I also love it. It really gives a new perspective on the Tower, and the fact that sometimes the Tower is completely by choice. And I would go one step further and say subconsciously, it's always by choice. And here's an example of why this deck gets knocked, because it's very much like the Lumina Tarot, right? We have these thin, white, beautiful people. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous card. I mean, how can you not love this Star card? And the fact that the cat is watching the fish and not eating the fish, that's another thing perhaps to comment on. And I love that what the cat sees in the reflection of the water here. Again, a reminder for all of us that our reflection is so really, really important. And we can look in our soul. We can deeply look into our souls to help reveal what we need to, what we need to work through in this moment, either for strength or to move through a pattern or whatever. The Sun card looks very much like a Three of Cups card, except for the sunflowers and the sun, of course. But it's really nice to, not see a naked baby. We get the aspect of joy and hope and optimism, and definitely the energy of fire. The fact that one or more of these women is pregnant also, is another symbol that might tie in really nicely with other cards. And the Judgment card, so completely different kind of take on judgment. And as we peel away the layers of the onion through the Fool's journey, we get to this place where we have a choice in this, because the Judgment card is a pretty big layer that's getting peeled away. And it can be scary. That kind of embarking on that deeper journey can really be a little bit unraveling. But here in this Judgment card, she is going for it, and with all optimism and hope that she is on the right path. And it just feels like that is the message of this card, is that you are on the right path, and continue to step forward and really celebrate. And we have the butterflies indicating the transformation as well too. So yeah, I think that Judgment card's really well done. And I know a lot of people love this World card. And you'll see cocktails in a few of the pictures in this deck. And I think that is just not so much taking it for the fact that it's alcohol, but the fact that it's of this world, of this earth. And so that we can blend and be spiritual in this world, right? We don't have to separate the two. We can very much be spiritual in our everyday lives. All right, so let's move this out of the way and then go to we're going to start with the element of earth. So we'll look at the pentacles first, along with the first 10 cards of the oracle deck. So we're starting with connect with Gaia. And there also is an order there's a system to the way that the oracle cards are presented. When an oracle deck has a system, I think it's important to be flexible and know that some days the numbers, the system might be very relevant to your reading, and on other days not so much. So really keep that in mind if you're going to really memorize the order of the cards of each of the suits. And here you can see a real strong crossover with the Ace of Pentacles and connect with Gaia. So we have this introduction to the element of earth, and there's this real magical quality. You can see the energy from the earth moving up through the grass and connecting to the witch there. It's just a super, super powerful card, and I love everything about it. When we move to the twos in this deck, these are more about moving in, and there's a sense of, I think they call it in the guidebook, internal work. And that is not unlike the twos in the tarot. So the twos in the tarot, there is this reflection, this pause that needs to happen to create the balance. And often there's a decision that needs to be made. But this reminds me very much of a Four of Swords, but in a more nurturing kind of way. And the energy, the restoration is happening through the energy of the quartz crystals here. It's an absolutely gorgeous card. I love that. And then we have a meditation card. So the third card is always a meditation card, which isn't necessarily a call to sit down in a lotus pose, but a call to really focus on the element in some way. And so what are one of the deepest ways you can connect with the element? And that, of course, is either putting your bare feet or your hands into the soil. And unfortunately, this witch has gloves on. Maybe that's for safety with what's going on in the dirt. And she may very well be burying something, right? So I would encourage you to take off your socks, to take off your gloves, and to just feel and connect deeply with the earth, because gardening is such a powerful, powerful practice. Here we have, so I was saying about, a lot of people don't like this deck because there's not a lot of diversity. And here we see perhaps a different nationality, different shape face. And so we're beginning to see more different kinds of people in this deck. Yeah. I like the way the crystals have been drawn in this deck. And then number 4 card. So we have quite a different energy in these 2 cards. There's definitely in the 4 of Pentacles a lack of action. There's this internal sense of just clinging and holding on too tightly. Whereas in the Oracle deck, in the 4th card, it's like a call to action. And so grounding and centering being a very active practice. And the way that the magic is drawn here is just absolutely stunning. This looks very much like a High Priestess card. And so if I was doing a reading, this would be the perfect counterpart to the High Priestess or the Magician card, and just kind of a confirmation of that message. In each of the suits, the 5th card is about magic. The 6th card in the Oracle deck is about taking action. It's about doing something again. So here we have in the earth, plant the seeds. And you can see a little bit of a crossover here because the 6 of Pentacles is very much about doing something. So regardless of what side of the coin you are on, it's necessary, to take action and step forward, whether that's asking for help or whether that's sharing your abundance. The 7th card in each of the suits is about stepping even further into your path and committing to your path. And here we have strength and resilience, which is quite an interesting contrast to the 7 of Pentacles, which is a very much quieter card. The 8th card of each suit, I believe, is an affirmation. And so there is a connection between the 3rd card, which is a meditation card for each suit, and the affirmation card. So if they do come up together in a reading, those are real indications of internal work. And I do see a crossover here between the 8 of Pentacles and this affirmation card. For me, the 8 of Pentacles is very much an internal card. There's a deep focus going on, working something through, making something even better than it was before, like revising, editing, and finding your way on a path, or refinding your way on a path. And then look at these 2, right? They are definitely sister cards. And in the 9th card, in each suit, in each element, we see a deep connection to the element and an obvious crossover between the 9th card in the Earth in the Oracle and the 9 of Pentacles. Don't you just want to be there? Wow. Just beautiful. And then we see the results of all the hard work. So the 10 of Pentacles and the seasonal harvest. All right, and then we have the quartz. I didn't take the quartz out. Love this deck. Okay, Ace of Swords. And imagine and envision. Wouldn't it be amazing if you drew both of these cards in a reading? And again, here we have the aces of the suit, and this, it's almost as if the Oracle card is bringing out another aspect of the Ace of Swords. The card on the left reminds me of the Vision Quest Tarot. Just beautiful. And on the right here, we have that same kind of internal gaze. Here, the focus is on the listening, the receiving of the message. And here is on the inner sight. So she has her anthem ready to throw, but she is blindfolded. So those decisions, right? Those shifts, that paying attention to that internal voice is so really important in, in coming up with your decision. And here's the meditation card for the suit of air, meditation for clarity, looking into the subconscious. So for me, when I saw this, I thought, oh, this must be the meditation card for water. And I'm just going to put it to the side so we can compare when we get there. And if you look at the Three of Swords with this card, you kind of get that a really powerful message with these two cards woven together. Really beautiful. So I'm just going to put that to the side. And then the fourth card. The fourth card in the suit is about stepping into action. So to me, this looks like she's standing before an altar. Perhaps there is a gathering on this side of the picture. The other thing that speaks to me here is the fact that the creators have included gratitude and thanks in the suit of air. Gratitude and thanks is one of the greatest medicines of the heart chakra. Heart chakra is connected to air. So to me, for that to come into this particular suit is really significant, whether the creators intended that or not. And here we have a different kind of action, action by inaction. The action here is in the restoration, in the healing. And sometimes we can act in kindness. We can act by not acting. I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes inaction is not inactive. And then in the fifth card, we move deeply into the magic of the element. And that's quite uncanny, the power of the magic in both of these cards, even though the message is quite different. And wow, look at this. So the Six of Swords is about moving on, moving forward, right? Learning from your mistakes, making a choice and moving in a new direction. And look what we've got here. Learn from life. So there obviously is some deep connection between the two decks, and the crossover is not identical in every single card, but it definitely is there. Prayers and wishes. Looks like a scene from Snow White. And Seven of Swords. In the sevens, I really see a new level of interaction with the element. There's this new level of understanding and integration. And also in the artwork, you can see that all of the elements represented in this card. So there's this beautiful harmony between the fire and the air and the water and the earth. It's really, really powerful. And it'd be really cool as well to find this connection here with the Seven of Swords and to ask questions between the two cards. Also really interesting, if these cards came up in a reading, how these two women's backs are to each other. Oh, there's just so many opportunities with this deck. I'm really excited to be working with it. My doggy's right here. I'm really excited to be working with it more. And here is an example of two cards that really support each other and to confirm a message and to deepen a message. And yeah, I love that. We have a lot of cards still to go through, so I'm going to try to go a little more quickly. And this is also great because the mind, the aspect of the Suit of Swords that speaks to the mind, I'm often reminded that, the English language is so very, very limiting. And in our culture, we tend to associate mind with brain and thinking and thought. But in other cultures and other perceptions, it's such a bigger, broader thing. And I really like how the potential for these two cards to interact is there. What if we could get out of the head, by speaking our mind? Yeah. Wow, and this is such a beautiful ending card, transformation and change. Look at just the magical energy and the light moving from one side to the other. Drawn just so beautifully. And then, this, of course, is a card of transformation as well, too. And nobody ever said that transformation wasn't challenging. I really do like the pages, and such a great card. The pages and the aces in the Everyday Witch Tarot. They're really well done. Okay, so the first card of the element of fire, sun and stars. So again, cards that really support and get you to look at different aspects of the element of fire. And the whole idea of the intuitive side, the magic, the practical magic aspect of fire and actually of wands. Sometimes that actually slips my mind, and because I'm so there's so many layers to each of the suits and the different meanings. And so, like I said earlier, really, really important to go back to the question, because the question is always going to let you know which way to go. Anyway, love that first card, the kind of the introduction to the element and the awareness. But this is so much more than an introduction to the element. This is like complete immersion in the element. Yeah. Okay. Second card. I feel like we're back in Diagon Alley here at the Weasley Brothers sweet shop, making love potions. It just feels like there's a few cards in both of these decks that really take me to Harry Potter. And Two of Wands is not necessarily a card I would go to the decision about a relationship. But the Two of Wands, Wands is about passion. And so this potential for this to be a question about relationship is certainly there. Accepting and receiving so the wand is in the left hand and the globe is in the right hand. And you could, depending on the deck too, look at which item is in the receptive hand, which item is in the giving hand. And I just love working with cards. So many different potential layers. And one of the things I always remind my students is to go back to the question. What did the querent ask? Or what did you ask? And if you didn't ask a question, just take a moment here and really focus on what it is you need to know in this moment. Meditation for creativity. That's a really cool picture. So meditation, remember, is not always about sitting down and closing your eyes. A meditation is about this deep internal focus that can happen with your eyes wide open. Yeah. And doesn't the Three of Wands feel kind of like that as well too? And you've got they're drawn very, very similarly here. Like just look at the magic here coming out of the wand as well here. And the animals fully participating in the experience. And again, these feel like so deeply connected. Inspiration and courage. Inspiration and support, from others. Magic. So these magic cards really feel very page-like to me. That sense of playfulness and experimenting with the element and getting to know the element. And I can really see the pages in these magic cards in each of the suits. Sometimes there's nothing to say. You just have to feel a card. So here we are at the 7th card. And I was saying before, I felt that these cards, there was a sense of integration of elements, as well as this place of trust and just kind of being in the element, this deep inner knowing. And I get that here as well with the Follow Your Dreams card in the Suit of Fire. Card number 8, Affirmation for Healing the Heart. In the guidebook, they tell us that there's a connection between the 8th card And the third card, so that was your meditation card. So your meditation cards are the third card. The affirmation card is the 8th card. So these are the cards of turning in and being quiet and listening. Affirmation for healing the heart. So quieting the fire, allowing the fire to be warm and soothing and comforting, as opposed to the fire that stirs us up and creates the action. And then 9 of fire, give love. So there's quite a few cards in this deck that speak to relationship. And then the last card in the suit of fire, joy and delight. So that's quite a contrast between these two cards. They're like stark opposites. On the left, we have a card of carrying no burdens, like truly just being and being present and not taking on things that don't belong to us. Yeah, it's a really good lesson for the 10 of Wands. I just love these court cards in this deck. Okay, and then the last suit is Cups. This ace here is just amazing. Healing waters. You can just feel that beautiful energy. It almost feels a bit like a temperance card. And the reason I'm going there is because we have usually the fox, right, connected to the element of fire. And we have over here this kind of parched land and the water here. So imagine a reading where you got the temperance card and this healing waters card. 2, I call this my Shirley Valentine card. Cleansing body and spirit. And here's your meditation card for water. And I said I would show you the meditation card that came up for air, because I thought that this card here kind of spoke to, or when I had shuffled the cards and I was going through them, I thought this was the meditation card for water. Meditation for clarity, meditation for peace and serenity. So what do you think of that? Ooh, and you know what? We have Sanskrit here. So I'm going to need to kind of enlarge this and see what this Sanskrit is here. I love it when there's little secret clues. That's fun. Okay, another project for sadhana. 4, change and progress. Water magic. This is a magical card. I don't know what this reminds me of, but it's really, really special card. Wow. I just like feel the energy of that card. And I love that the sky is pink in the background. Wow. Okay, so here we are at the 7s. And I was talking about that integration of the elements. And look how we've got the sun shining down in the background. She's in the water. We've got this strong earth element showing. There's stars on the boat. Complete kind of peace and connection with the element. The oars have fallen out of the boat, so she's in a place of trust. And I think all of the 7s in this deck are about that trust and just being, which is a perfect lesson for the 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups is about not being present, really. It's about being in the future. Yeah. Cool. All right. And then we have the 8. Wow. And almost, they look like kind of the same kind of image. Affirmation for positive change. And a lot of the transformation cards do match closely to the tarot. This looks like it could also be like a Six of Swords card with the boats. Nine. Tears of joy and sadness. So this card, of course, would speak well to an Eight of Swords or a Nine of Swords card, or to one of the any of the letting go cards in the tarot. And look at the reflection of the cat. That's really interesting. So the cat, the ears are up here. And see how the ears are back in this one? So even the cat has a different perception looking in the mirror. All right, and then the last card of water, rebirth and reinvention. And have a look at these two side by side. So these are your two big transformation cards in this deck. Pretty powerful artwork. Before I do a reading, I just wanted to give a quick little shout out to the guidebook. For each of the cards, you have a substantial amount of information. So there's a description, and then following the description, there are 3 other additional sections. One is called action, and then divination, and then magic. So it's a really well done little guidebook. Before I turn the cards over for the reading, can I get you to just take a breath and just reflect on what you would like clarity on in this moment? Okay. So strength and resilience. I love this card. Do you remember I was talking about the integration of these 7th cards? And this is the 7th card of Earth. So there's this real sense of harmony and connection with the earth. And also those standing stones, there's so much strength in this card. So this shows me that you have experience with the earth element, and also a confidence in a confidence and a trust in the earth element. So continue to work with practices and just everyday, daily things that keep you deeply connected, because that's going to be your source of inspiration. It's going to be your source of strength, right? So get out into the forest and go for your walks, and get out into the backyard and mow your lawn and rake your leaves, and just really feel that connection, whether it is an everyday sense of connection or whether it is, more of a spiritual practice. Let's see what we've got in the tarot cards. Knight of Wands. To me, which is about taking action and stepping forth. So that really kind of supports the fire element of this card. And so through your strength and your passion and your love of the earth element, you're going to be able to resource, is that a verb? To a whole new level. Okay, so you are really stepping forth in a way that is completely grounded and safe. And so while others might be kind of mocking you and like wondering if you've kind of lost your marbles and stepping in this new direction, just kind of let that roll off your back, because you have this 100%, like this sense of trust and faith that you have in the universe is not unfounded, and you need to go forth and just do this, because it is exactly on path and exactly what you need at this time in this moment. So thank you very, very much for joining me today. I know this is a bit of a ramble and a long video, but I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have as well too. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.